Hey everyone! Don't forget to stay tuned till after the video if you want to find out how to support me or where to follow me on social media. And also, if you like this video and like what I do, like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. Anyways, thank you so much for choosing me, and on with the video. I'm going to start off with this, guys. This is going to be completely unedited because this is kind of like a last minute like slingshot video. I wasn't intending on making it at all yet. As you can see behind me, I have been working very hard to get my 10,000 sub celebration video together. That is still in the works, but I'm still missing a couple of components. So just starting off with that. But what I felt the need and the what compelled to do was, talk about it, because lately, you guys know Michelle McDaniel, obviously, and a couple of people have been bringing up that, it's just too hard, money-wise, to stay thin. And I've got to say, I understand, full disclosure, I'm going to go over a little timeline with you guys about how I got to where I was. And how I understand completely, you can get that mentality, but you also have to get yourself out of that mentality. So for the first 25 years of my life, I grew up in a family that home cooked everything. Going out to eat at a fast food restaurant was something you did where you planned it. Like all of you were like, it's Friday night, we're all gonna go out and get something fast food. I don't know if it's a Rhode Island thing. Maybe you guys can leave in the comments. Most of Rhode Island has a lot of small mom and pop delis and sidewalk shops where you walk up and you're getting fresh cooked food that it's not like fast food. It's well made. It's whole ingredients. You're not getting something from a chain. You're not getting something that has like preservatives. It's real food. And that would be our version of fast food. I went to delis and bakeries where the owners retrained in Italy twice a year just to keep themselves brushed up on their recipes to make sure they were truly traditional. That's what I'm used to. And so when I moved down south on my own, my husband and I came by ourselves. And this is where the perspective comes in. I went from, always finding something to make for yourself in the house. Nothing ever prepackaged. It was always, oh, you wanted pancakes? We never had pancake mix. The first time I used pancake mix, I think I was like 26 years old. I never had to use it before. Whenever we went and got breakfast sausage, we went to I think it was Buffoni's. We went to the place, the butcher. It wasn't just a butcher. It was also the farm attached to the butcher. When we got chicken, we went to the poultry farm, which was a privately owned poultry farm. We got our eggs from the poultry farm. We got our milk from local dairies. That's a very Rhode Island thing. It's very easy to do. And so when I moved down here, and I guess in my mind, I thought it would be more prevalent down here, being in the South. Maybe it's just a stereotype. It was not down here at all. And that threw me off guard. On top of that, my husband and I came here impatiently, I would say. We came down with nothing but a TV, a video game system, and our pets. And we didn't even get jobs. We didn't know how we were going to pay our rent. And so, we were without money really quickly. We got on EBT, luckily, and for the first 6 months we lived here, we used EBT. We got like $400 a month, which was really nice. And as soon as I felt we were stable, we used up the 6 months, and then we dropped it. We just said, no, we don't need it anymore. I didn't want to feel like a leech. I felt there was someone else who could utilize that money. So once we got off of EBT and we no longer had that money, we had to prioritize. And I was like, well, what are we going to do? And so that was kind of I will say, the most difficult parts of our lives, because my husband and I struggled very hard for the first 3 years we were here. So much so that we faced homelessness on a bi-monthly basis. And to be very frank, we went to the soup kitchen all the time for donation food. And so I would get a lot of canned foods and a lot of frozen foods that were donated. And then a lot of peanut butter and things like that. And I had to learn how to utilize these things. So what my husband and I started eating a lot of was stews. I made a lot of these bean stews with whatever beans they gave us. Because let me tell you something. When you go to the soup kitchen, what you're definitely going to get is canned veggies, a lot of canned beans, especially refried beans. And you're going to get peanut butter. Lots of peanut butter. So I had to learn how to utilize this stuff. But eventually I wanted to stop taking that too. So I think after a year of every once in a while going to the soup kitchen, what I then started doing was thinking, well, how do we really afford to eat? And so I actually broke it down to roughly $10 a week at the time. We're talking 2014, 2015. And what that was we had hot dogs, we had all these box mac and cheese, and then I would just try to home make whatever stew that I could. And that was kind of the starter, because between 2014 and 2015, that was when we were at our lowest financial point. Then I started selling furniture in late 2015, and that's when things changed. But the problem was, we had already been working so much, because we were working very small jobs just to culminate all the money together. And so what we did during that time, because we were always working, we were never home. And when we were home, there was not enough stuff around. We got in the habit of grabbing a local chain called Cookout. Cookout had $5 trays, and it was very filling. You got a burger, you got 2 sides, you got this massive drink. I never drank soda until I moved down here. And then suddenly I was drinking soda once a week. And I love Cheerwine on top of that. Ooh, I love Cheerwine. So that's really what started it for me. Because guys, when I came down here, yes, I weighed 320. But I've showed you photos in the past. And again, this is a low edit. I will go over this in another video. But I will put up pictures. You guys can see the difference. There's not a massive difference in weight with me. But I will tell you right now, I know. And on top of that, coupled with it, I can't stand the city water here. The city water here is so shocked with chlorine, it's nauseating. And it would make me sick to my stomach just to drink it. So then we had to get filters, and it was a whole thing. And so then when we got in that habit of, when the going got tough, when we were running around, we'd go to Cookout. Well, then the problem was, we started getting in the habit of plain and simple. When the going got tough, Cassie and Matt did not go to the fridge to be inventive. I was still inventive after a while, but it was usually, well, this is much simpler. And so we started getting into the narrative that, well, fresh food is expensive, especially because it was easy for me to make that excuse, because at the apartments that I had, the refrigerator was like 20 years old when I got there. Food went bad very quickly in it, especially fresh vegetables. I don't know what it is about fresh vegetables, but they went bad real quick there. Not the case in my fridge I have here now. I have fresh veggies all the time. But that was something where I started to fall into that narrative. It's super expensive. And I'm not saying it isn't in a lot of ways. But it also really isn't that expensive, honestly, guys. If you take the time, like I eventually did, to find who sells chicken for the best price and in bulk. For instance, where I'm from, Harris Teeter used to have the best sale on chicken breast. So it would be $20. It would be $1 a pound, right? So I would go and I would say $25 worth of chicken. I go buy $25 worth of chicken breast, and then I would split it all up. I would pre-season it, and then I freeze it. So then we had food in advance. I would then go and pick out frozen vegetables. So that way I had a meal set aside. So I knew that this season chicken was this, and this vegetable was this. And it was great until, I want to say, who remembers when all the great storms happened in Florida and Houston? That was in, I want to say, September. It's either September or October. It was in September of 2017. We had in my house what I call the wall of humanity. And no shade to my friend, and shade to the other people that stayed with me during that time, but that was a family, 2 families with 7 children, 4 adults, plus my then now deceased best friend, his boyfriend, and me and my husband, all living in a 2-bedroom apartment. Tack on 2 dogs and 8 cats. Okay, so that was all under my apartment, and all the good habits my husband and I had developed, the healthy food, the meal prepping, 6 months absolutely destroyed it. I will say so much. That was the beginning of the really bad habits for me, because I went from every week having everything planned, having the snacks planned. I would pre-make whole wheat sandwiches. So I would get whole wheat bread, I would get turkey, I would get natural cheddar, and I would pre-make the sandwiches and I put it in wax paper, so all the boys, whether it be my husband and his best friend Ray, when Ray was driving him to work with him, or when my best friend and his boyfriend came home, all they had to do was reach in and grab a sandwich. And the sandwiches always had not even like iceberg, it always had like a radicchio, it always had like romaine, arugula. Like, I tried to put healthier lettuce in there. But once we got this huge group of people in our house, and all of them took over the fridge, which was already tiny to begin with, they took over the kitchen. And my husband and I at the time were making decent enough money where we could afford to eat out all the time. And that was when it really got bad, because we were both fried out emotionally. We felt stifled. We felt confined. We felt like our home was taken away from us, even though we had taken everyone in, and it was a good deed that we did. In a lot of ways, it definitely struck back on us. And so we started developing really bad habits. We would avoid the house. Well, the house was where a lot of our food was originally being stored. So what would we do? Instead, we would go out and we'd either go to a restaurant, or we would go to a fast food joint, or we'd buy something pre-made at the market and just eat it on the way home and then crash. And so then when everything started going wrong financially after that, and as now this part you guys know, I nearly went homeless in 2019, the bad habits got even worse. So even after everyone was out and it was all good, it was so difficult. And I will tell you, it got super difficult for a while. And so it's just like you start saying to yourself, oh, well, it's so much more expensive to have this food in the house, because what if it goes bad, or what if it does this? And so you start to manipulate your own brain and your own interpretations to believe that somehow you're making a better financial choice. You're not. I'm here to tell you, you are not. Don't make the mistakes that I did. A lot of bad food choices are based on time and stress. Now, I would even convince myself because I was getting sushi, or I was getting miso soup, or I was getting a lean burger, or I was getting something that wasn't fattening, okay? I had convinced myself that I was still doing good. And like I told you guys before, when I got depressed after my mother and best friend died, I would starve myself the whole day. So sometimes I wouldn't eat for an entire day. So that night, knowing that I had to face all those people in my house, crawl across children just to get into my house, it was easy to say, go ahead and get that extra roll of sushi. Go ahead and, get that milkshake on top of what you've gotten every once in a while. And even if it was just once a week, the fact is, if I'm already having, even if it's sushi and it's healthy, if I'm getting something unhealthy in the sushi, like tempura shrimp, or I'm getting soft shell crab, which is usually fried, then you're still doing yourself a disservice. And that's the problem, guys. I think that's the main issue that you don't want to admit. You're under stress. And so when you're under that amount of stress, rather than addressing the stress and looking at it and saying, this is a bad choice, I'm letting the stress get to me. Whatever that bad choice is. Because again, I've never turned to emotional food. I've never turned to food and been like, oh my God, I'm in such a bad mood, I need a pint of ice cream. Or, oh my God, I need comfort, let me get that bag of potato chips. That's never been me. But what I will say is, I have been the person who's gone, oh my God, I'm so fucking tired, I do not want to cook. Okay, who's open? All right, well, I can get grilled chicken from there. All right. And so I would say to myself, well, you're getting grilled chicken or you're getting broiled fish. So it's not so bad. But the fact of the matter is, guys, even if you think you're making a wise decision, those fast food joints are still putting a lot of sodium and something else to make that food preserved because it's not fresh food. And so again, we are all making these unwise decisions. And so when it comes to money and it comes to the affordability of it, I think it's very easy to use that as an excuse when you're already in that stressed state, when you're already in this manic state of, what do I do? How do I solve this? How do I fix this problem? I know, I've been there. I have been there. Guys, if I broke it down, you'd be looking at me like, Starson, I know you tried to do the right thing, but you fucking stupid. And I would agree with you. Because in a lot of cases, my stress came from I prioritized the wrong things. I tried to take care of others. And I took care of others in a wrong way. Looking back now, especially because at that time I was in the Bopo army. I was drinking the Kool-Aid. So I wasn't so concerned if it was a couple extra calories. I never looked at calories. Ever. I assumed the way it was cooked was good enough. I think a lot of Italians honestly think that way. Oh, it's not fried, so it's still okay. Okay, but it's still covered in cheese. And it's still red meat. It's good. That's how we thought. You know, and we thought, well, it's olive oil. Olive oil is not as bad as other oils, so it's okay. And so that's a big problem that, you know, I understand financially it's difficult. But then what you have to do is, one, look at the volume of food you're eating. And then look at the price you've got. And I guarantee you guys, you will be able to rework your entire financial situation to work for a healthier diet. There are ways around it. And there are ways to make the healthy tasty. I've said this in the past and I'll say it again. If you have certain taste markers that are going to make you crave things you're not supposed to have, then look for them. For instance, I love fruity stuff. I love gummies. So I reverted to this gummy, which is essentially just guava and mango. There's nothing else in this stuff. It's just guava and mango and a little citric acid. That's what I have for gummies now when I really want gummies because I love them. I love fruit pastries, but I really shouldn't have them. So what I have instead is this whole wheat and fig little bars, and they have like raspberry or blueberry in it to give me that fruit flavor that I like. I love salty and I love cheese. So I have snacking cheeses like Bel Gioioso or Sargento, and it's the natural mozzarella. You know, instead of reaching for a soda, I'll have a coffee at home and I'll use honey instead of sugar. And I will make sure, like, I think I calculated it out. The way I make my coffee at home, I want to say it comes out to 180 or 200 calories, which, in my opinion, considering what I eat throughout the day, that's not bad. Because I usually have a just crack an egg, which is about 110 calories. I try to have a piece of naan with that, so I have bread in my tummy. You know, I try to balance it out. So whenever I have food in the morning, I get a couple of 100 calories then. And then I have a couple of 100 calories for snack or lunch. And then I have probably the last, I would say, 5 or 6 for dinner. I try very hard to stick to that. Yes, depending on my stress level, I fall back into the bad habit, but I have to call myself out on it. And I guess that's where my parting shot will be with it, guys. You have to learn to call yourself out. And not in a, oh my God, you're stupid, or oh my God, how could you? You never guilt yourself for it. We are human, we are imperfect. As my father would say, there's only one perfect person who existed in this world. He died over 2,000 years ago. Stop beating yourself up. You do not have to get mad at yourself over it, but you do have to call yourself out and say, you know what? You fell off the wagon. Now you don't have to do it again. You have to get back on the wagon. You have to do the work. You have to do the research. You have to test the foods that you want, and you have to be willing to put the money aside. Because I can guarantee you, even back when I was broke as dirt, I can pinpoint things that I spent money on I didn't need to. I made bad decisions Because, we're not even talking a ton of money. We're talking like I bought something for $10. I bought something for $5. You can buy little itty bitty things and they can add up to a lot. Keep track of your finances. Keep track of what you're spending. Keep track of where your bills are coming out. Keep track of what you're making per month. You will find out that you have more money than you think, and you will have more money to buy proper food. You know, because when you look at the junk food aisle, and again, I saw Michelle talking about it on her stories on Instagram earlier. You guys don't understand how expensive a lot of this junk food is. Even getting the off-brand version is expensive. So why not spend $4 on a bag of green grapes, which, by the way, is fucking amazing? You know, English hothouse cucumbers are only $1. Get some broccoli. Learn how to do that. Do you know that Brussels sprouts roasted with a little bit of olive oil and garlic in the oven with the little leaves getting just a tiny bit crisp? Guys, there are ways around it. And grilled chicken, if you brine it ahead of time properly, is never dry. There's always ways to do it. Miso is your friend. If you like salt, but you only can have a little bit of it, but you want a lot of flavor, use that. That is a great way because you get the added benefits of the miso. Again, there are ways around it. Do your research. Look up recipes. You know what you have here? You have a wealth of knowledge at your fingertips. There's this guy on YouTube. He makes these healthy meals, and I'm going to start trying to make them just because they actually look really good. He made these oatmeal bars, and I've been dying to try them, but the problem is that I have to logic that it's okay for me to get them because the husband doesn't eat them. But the point is, there are ways around it. There are dietitians, nutritionists, and just chefs out there who know what they're doing. They have all of this free at your fingertips on YouTube, on TikTok, Rumble, wherever. Pinterest, Tumblr. God, the options are endless. You have the options. You had them back then too. It's just now you can't escape them. So again, I'm sorry, guys. I know this is a little more like my original videos when I didn't really know how to edit, but I wanted to make sure I got this out on time, so there will be no editing on it, and you'll see that. And be on the lookout because, as you can see behind me, I've been doing a lot of hard work, and just be more self-aware, guys. If you are more self-aware of what your choices are, and you are more conscious of what you're willing to do and what you're willing to spend, you will find out, I would say the average American blows $30 to $80 a week on things they could live without. That I will tell you. Start keeping track of your finances. You're going to find the money to eat better. And then once you start eating better, you find yourself craving those better foods. And then once you're at that point, you are going to open up a wealth of foods and culinary, and just, it's so much better for you. I promise. Take it from me. I swear to God. Okay? That's all I had to say about it though, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you in the next one. Hey, if you like that video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, help me out with that algorithm. I want to first off thank all of my patrons. You guys are amazing. You help fund me. You help me do this. Thank you to Lisa, John Quinn, Sherry Molosky, Emil DeVry, Edie, Anime Chan, Lady Derpy, Choco Hooligan, Amelia, Esteban, It's Brentley, Gina Cena, Rox, AJ Larry, and Becoming a Better Me, and Pink Dolphin Milk 65. Guys, if you want to join my Patreon, it starts as low as $1 a month, goes all the way up to $20, whatever else you want to give me. And we have a lot of different good perks. You can get drawings from me, you get patron exclusive artwork, and I try to get my videos out as early as possible to my patrons, although I have been failing a bit lately. If you like a lot of the merchandise that I wear, please make sure to check out No System. That is nosysnos.com. A lot of my shirts and jewelry do come from there. And here is all of my social media. If you enjoy my artwork, if you enjoy my rants, and if you just enjoy me, you can follow me on all of these different networks. I am like Fly Poo, I'm everywhere. Don't forget to check out my older videos or my most recent video, which will be right here. And otherwise, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have an amazing day. And don't forget to tell the people that are important to you that you love them and to be safe. So, guys, I love you. Be safe. Have a wonderful day. Bye.